Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for being here. Of course, Anthony Smith isn't here. He had a tough fight at the weekend. We did a live stream on that. We watched the fight. It was heartbreaking. It was frustrating. It was sad to see. And we know that everyone that watches this show is a proud supporter of Anthony. And it's a tough sport. And it was a tough loss. It was a tough night. He knows that, so he's not here today. We're only going to get one show out this week. I'm jumping on a plane. I'm traveling to England very, very shortly.
Why, do you have something going on over there?
Pardon me?
I said, do you have something going on over there?
Yeah, Tales from the Octagon. So we won't be doing a second show. So today we're going to do a big focus on UFC 296 because there is a lot to talk about there. And I'm very, very excited. And by the way, it's perfect timing because when I do Tales from the Octagon, it's Thursday. And then on the Manchester one, it's Saturday. So it's not a preview as such. We're not going to break down the fights. We're not breaking down the fights at all, but we're breaking down the fighters. We're going to be taking the piss and having a laugh, and it's giving me a lot of material. Okay, so very, very excited for UFC 296. I guess we just get into that main event. The main event, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. The shit talk is now kind of started. You know, I mean, Colby Covington, never shy of words. I saw there was a great image doing the rounds yesterday as Leon was like a red coat and Colby was, I don't know what you call an American patriot, face to face. I thought that was great. Colby saying that Leon's not active, that he's going to move up in weight class when he beats him and all the rest of it. Let's just see how the fight goes down.
Yeah, I mean, it's for, you know, I assumed it was trolling when Colby called someone else inactive. I mean, you know, it's the shit talking has begun. And I really I just saw a headline about Leon Edwards not too long ago where he's like, I grew up in Jamaica. I'm used to death. Colby's not used to that kind of lifestyle. And it's like, whoa, dude, that's a scary guy to fight.
Not talking shit. Leon Edwards said he grew up in Jamaica. He said he was the first ever British champ. Not talking shit. I'm just saying. It's worth a mention. It's worth a mention. Which one did you grow up in? But in all seriousness, let's go, Leon. And I'm saying that if Leon wins, he's the first Brit to ever successfully defend the belt twice. So he will be the most successful.
Yeah, but
he would, Leo for sure.
He would still be tied with you for defenses on home soil. So,
there you go. There's always a positive spin from Harrington. I appreciate it. Colby also, he's kind of getting ahead of himself because Leon's talking about moving up a weight class. He's talking about Sean Strickland, and here's what he had to say. He said, Sean, he's pretending to be everything he wishes I was. I would love to slap Sean Strickland around. He's just a pathetic excuse of a human being. The guy literally has no freaking IQ. The guy is so effing stupid. The things he says, he needs to get his mouth wired shut. And I'm the guy to do it. The UFC knows that I'm the one that can end these guys that hate the company and they hate the world. So I would love to fight Sean Strickland.
Okay. I mean, honestly, that line, he needs his jaw wired shut and I'm the man to do it. Top notch Colby. That's a solid trash talking line. Everything else about that was absurd.
From the guy that had his jaw broke against Kamaru Usman. Not talking shit about Colby. I love Colby, but you got to see the hilarity. I'm not talking shit. I do like Colby. I like the character. I like the person. I think he's very entertaining. He's a master at hyping fights. But you got to say the irony of him saying he's going to get his jaw wired shut. Colby got the broken jaw, and he's not exactly a power puncher.
I think maybe that's the third act of Colby Covington. Is like now he's literally just cutting promos on himself and framing it as other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's calling Leon inactive when he hasn't fought in 2 years.
This show's coming out on a Wednesday, which is unusual for the show because we're only getting one. Now, I wish we were doing this when the press conference had happened. We've talked about this a lot. We've hyped it up, but it is that press conference is going to be amazing. It is, because there's so much drama. There's Leon and Colby. There's Tony and Paddy. There's Ian, Garry, and Vincente Luque. And I think Colby is just going to go after everyone. He's going to talk shit about Paddy. He's going to talk shit about Ian Garry. He's going to talk shit about Leon Edwards. Leon probably won't say too much because he's just not that guy, but he will. You know, he's confident. He's not shy. He's going to talk a bit, but it's going to be Colby Covington, Tony Ferguson losing his mind. He'll have the sunglasses on, trying to avoid cables everywhere he goes and just coming out with some weird shit and doing like elbow shit like he does. It's Tony time. Let's go, bitches. It's going to be good. Brian, welcome to the show if you're around.
Quick question about that press conference. Do you think Colby Covington talks shit to Shavkat Rakhmonov, or is he steering clear of that iceberg?
Well, the thing with Shavkat, the answer to your question is no. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say, I understand why you're asking it. You're saying, oh, because he doesn't want the smoke. He doesn't want the smoke. He's 17-0. He's undefeated. They're all finishes. And he's very good. But also, Shavkat's, it's like an unassuming guy. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like Leon, I was going to say was, because he's coming out of his shell a little bit more. Being a champion does that for you. But there's no reason to have beef with Shavkat. Where's he from? Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan? He's from Kazakhstan. He doesn't talk English. No, he doesn't say anything anyway.
Mountain murderers are made. Like, you know,
pardon me?
He's from where mountain murderers are made. You don't just, that he's like one of those dudes who's wrestling goats his whole childhood.
Yeah. So, I don't think he'll talk shit to Shavkat. He doesn't need to. There's enough people to go out on stage. Ian Garry, he's turned back on the comments on his social media, if you saw.
I have not, but my God, I want to go check them so badly right now.
Oh, I've been studying it every day. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. No. Good for him. You've got it. You can't do that. People say it's a bitch move. It's a bit of a bitch move. You know what I mean?
It
Disabling comments, you're just going to get a lot of shit when you put them back on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
you think people are going to forget between the time you shut them off and turn them back on?
It's like you cranked up a hose. You're just adding pressure to the stream of comments you're going to get.
That's it.
Yeah. No, listen, you just got to stop. We've talked about this. You just got to ignore all the shit. You know, the amount of shit that I used to get back in the day was unbelievable. It was unbelievable, especially after I had a very close fight with Matt Hamill. And then kind of trashed him on the microphone because I was a young, immature little asshole and I didn't like the guy at the time. And then on top of that, he's deaf. Do you know what I mean? So it's just it was just a PR nightmare. The hatred I got was unreal. But you just got to turn the other cheek. You know, you just got to do what Jesus would do.
What's Matt Hamill's shit talking game like?
Surprisingly good.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Surprisingly good. So you just got to ignore it all. Do you know what I mean? You can't please everybody. Just crack on. And if there's something that's really nasty, you just delete it and block them.
Matt Hamill saying, I hit you so hard, I heard it.
Yeah. Whoa, deaf jokes, bro. Don't be doing that, Harrington.
I'm saying that's...
Ladies and gentlemen, disclaimer. The Believe in Me podcast does not condone making fun of deaf people.
I'm not making fun of deaf people. I'm making fun of the guy who got beaten up by a deaf person.
Shame on you.
Okay.
They're people, Harrington.
Yeah, I know. My dad's one of them.
Is he? Is he deaf? He's hard of hearing because he's an old bastard. It's not quite the same thing. Today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped. You know the one, Manscaped, the world's leader, the men's leader, the best stuff you can get to groom your face, your balls, your downstairs area, to take care of the nose hairs, the ears hair, whatever it is. And by the way, the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has all of those things. In the package, you get the Lawnmower 4.0, the gold standard, right, to trimming your downstairs junk without cutting yourself. It's waterproof. It's got a light. It's got a long battery, titanium-coated T-blade. You name it, it's got it. It's got the weed whacker. It's got the nose hair trimmer. It's got the crop preserver ball deodorant. It's got the crop reviver toner. It's got performance boxer briefs and a bag to put it all in. There's also the Shear 2.0 kit, which has stainless steel nail cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors so you can take care of your feet. So if you're by the pool, you're at the beach, or just walking around your house on Christmas Day and you haven't got shoes and socks on, you don't look gross. So take care of your feet, take care of your face. take care of downstairs, and do it all by going to manscaped.com. Use the code Bisping20, 20% off and free shipping, by the way. Manscaped.com. The code is Bisping20 for 20% off and free shipping. So anyway, let's get into this whole Ian Garry versus Vincente Luque fight. We had Vincente on here recently. Obviously, they know each other very well. Vincente Luque, I haven't got his record up right here, but, you know, he's had some losses along the way, but he's a very good, well-rounded mixed martial artist. They know each other, so you would assume when you know someone, when you train with them, you know the weaknesses, you know the strengths. The strengths of Ian Garry are blatantly obvious. Very fast, he's powerful, he's tall, he's young, he's confident, he's cocky, but that's fine. He's undefeated. He's 13-0. So you're going to be confident. You're going to have all those kind of qualities, which is great. But there's weaknesses as well. Vincente Luque will know them. But more importantly, not only will Vincente know them, all the coaches from the gym, they will know them as well. Just looking at Vincente Luque, let's have a look. Last win over RDA. Lost to Jeff Neal. Lost to Belal Muhammad. Belal's a tough matchup. Chiesa, Woodley, Randy Brown, Nico Price. There were the 4 wins before those two. So what's your thoughts on that fight? For Vincente Luque, I say he's got to close the distance, get on the inside and try and take him down. I don't think standing toe-to-toe and having a kickboxing match will work out in his favor. Ian's faster. Ian probably hits harder. Ian's quicker. He's taller. He's longer. He's tailor-made for that kind of fight. But how good is his takedown defense? How good is his ground game? Because we don't see him there too often. Yeah, Rafael dos Anjos tried to take him down, but Rafael dos Anjos, with respect to the former champ and the legend, is at the end of his career.
Yeah. I mean, I think my big thing with Vincente Luque is, like, I've seen him get knocked out, right? And Ian Garry has that confidence of somebody who's never lost a fight, never been finished. So, like, until I see that get cracked, I'm typically going to favor that. Especially given the injury that he had and how long he was out. There were concerns for me heading into the RDA fight where I thought, you know, even, you know, as you're saying, like tail end of his maybe the very tail end of his prime, I thought RDA was going to get the job done against him. The step up to Ian Garry it feel like it's too much for me.
So you think Ian Garry gets the job done?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at Ian Garry, last one against Neil Magny, used the calf kicks to tremendous effect. Okay. I think he took Magny off his feet several times. And to be fair, that fight could have been stopped potentially on a couple of other occasions. Because anytime you start hitting the deck so frequently, sometimes the referees step in and say, right, this fight's done. You can't stay on your feet. So he was lucky to see the final bell. I think Luque's probably going to have an answer for that. And the answer for that is to push forward, to get in the range, get in his face, close the distance, get in the clinching game, which again leans into trying to take him down. Okay, Ian did pass the takedown test against Neil Magny, but again, Neil Magny, no spring chicken. Not saying he's out to roost. I'm not saying he's old. I'm not saying he's done, but he's getting towards the end of his career. He's pushing 40 for crying out loud. Before that, D-Rod, he looked phenomenal against D-Rod, but D-Rod, he's nowhere near as fast. And he's just not as slick. I'm not slagging him off. I'm not saying anything bad, but he's not. Ian Garry's slick. D-Rod wasn't as slick before that. Son Kanan, he got the finish, but he was almost knocked out in the first round by Son Kanan. So I think it's a closer fight. I think I'll probably lean towards Ian Garry. Ian Garry needs this. There's been a lot of distractions, though. A lot of distractions. Negative energy. Saying that his family aren't safe to come to America. This is a nation where every man and their dog has a gun. I don't think anyone's coming for him, though. I don't think anyone's coming for the family. I don't think anyone's coming for the baby. I don't think America's a nation, or even MMA fans are not trying to murder Ian Garry's family.
Dude, I think that's the generational difference, right? Because Ian Garry's what, like 26, 27, something like that? Like, he's about 10 years younger than me. And that's like where the psychosis comes in, where people are being mean to me online, so they now want to hurt my family. Like, I don't know. That does seem like a big distraction. And I now remembering that Magny fight, thank you for bringing that up, because it's like, I remember walking away from that fight saying, does Ian Garry have like the killer instinct it takes to become a champion? When you have a guy that hurt in front of you, when you know how much like the difference in having a finish on your record means versus having a decision against somebody like Neil Magny, like, does he have that gear to kick it up to the next level? I mean, Vincente Luque is the kind of guy to test that against.
Well, Vincente is a high-level jiu-jitsu player. And when you get to that level of jiu-jitsu acumen, that means your brain, it means you're smart, right? To learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu to a high level, it's extremely technical. You know what I mean? It is very, very technical. That means you have to have a certain level of intelligence. Okay, so he's a smart guy, and the reason I'm saying that is that means if the smartness is there to become a jiu-jitsu black belt, it is also there to follow a game plan. That doesn't mean that every jiu-jitsu guy can go out and become a UFC world champion, because you've got to have a well-rounded skill set. Vincente does have a well-rounded skill set, and he's also got all the benefit of Gilbert Burns, Shavkat, all those fighters, all the coaches, because there's not just Henry Hooft. There's a team of coaches down there that will work with them all. They'll say, he's not good at this. When he tries to get back to his feet, he does this. When he defends a takedown, he does that. You know what I'm saying? So there's lots of little things. And that's why Ian Garry's gone on the road and been thrown out of a few gyms. But I'm still leaning towards Ian Garry. Still leaning towards Ian. Then it's Tony Ferguson, Paddy Pimblett, Brian and Harrington. Quick, give me your predictions on this.
Have you seen Tony Ferguson was hitting the Wing Chun dummy earlier this week? I think Paddy Pimblett's in some trouble.
I haven't seen that video, no. But anyone that's doing Wing Chun is wasting their time. No offense. Man. If you're 75 years old and you want to do a bit of Tai Chi, good for you. Move the body, walk, take the cat out for a walk, take cat litter out of the house, right? Do something with your body. Tai Chi is great. Wing Chun in modern day mixed martial arts, limited.
But in all seriousness, I think Tony Ferguson's in a lot of trouble. I think at the age and with the miles that have been put on his body, plus going through a hell week with David Goggins, I don't think the hell week with David Goggins helped him at all. I don't
know, Brian.
It had to be.
I don't know. I don't think Paddy Pimblett came out and talked about this. He said he needs to learn how to fight better, essentially. It's not what he said, but that's kind of paraphrasing what he said. He said he needs to work on technique. He needs to work on this and that. He doesn't need to be doing long distance conditioning type of stuff. And I understand that. But I think Tony Ferguson, what he's trying to take from David Goggins is mental strength, self-belief, because that's ultimately what's at stake here. Does Tony believe in himself anymore? Do you know how hard it is to keep stepping foot in a UFC octagon when you've lost 6 in a row, right? Hard. So, yeah, okay, running long distances, doing a hell week, all the rest of it. Yeah, your cardio base will get very high, but maybe you'll overdo it, maybe you'll overtrain. But it will reinstall that self-belief, and having somebody like David Goggins around and installing that, he's got no choice. He is force-feeding him confidence and self-belief every day. Do you know what I'm saying?
But so my point is I'm wondering how much the damage and the wear on his body is going to take a toll, because he doesn't usually do that shit before a fight, So it's like I don't, but I also don't know anything. So no.
But let's be honest, Tony Ferguson does a lot of things that people don't normally see before a fight. Remember when he broke his leg? He came back and I forget what it was. There was that video. He was doing like some weird training and like breakdancing on blocks and doing all kinds of mad stuff.
Kicking steel rods.
He's out of his mind. He's a character, but that's kind of the appeal of him. And that's kind of what made him so great in the first place. Yes, 6 losses. Yes, lots of mile on the clock. Yes, almost 40. But against the losses are against some of the best people on the planet. Oliveira couldn't finish him. Bobby Green did. Nate Diaz did. Justin Gaethje had the ref step in. But is Paddy Pimblett that level of threat?
Maybe
I don't think he's got the hands like that. I don't think he's got the one-shot power to put somebody like Tony Ferguson down. Like, you need the that head kick from the front kick from Michael Chandler. We all know how Bobby Green hits like a tank. Like, I have not seen, Paddy hitting guys with like one hitter quitter power like that. So I don't think so. I don't, right? And I do think that Tony can make a fight ugly, especially when he breaks the elbows out, right? Like, I want to see how Paddy Pimblett does when he's got like a giant cut right here and blood's coming into his eyes. Like, what's he going to do when he's in there with El Kukui?
Yeah, well, that's the big question, because we haven't seen Paddy, have to really dig deep and fight through adversity like that. I do think he has advantages. Obviously, he's younger. I think he's faster. I think that's obvious, actually. It's not even a think. He is faster. He doesn't have as much power. Striking-wise, who would you give advantage to striking-wise? I think it's pretty even. I think Tony's got more power. I think Paddy has got speed on his side.
Experience, too. I mean, Tony's been doing it for how much longer than Paddy?
And not to mention pressure on Paddy as well. He was the belle of the ball. He came out. He had that fight against Jared Gordon. Big backlash. He's had a year off. He's coming back from an injury. Maybe he's overtraining as well. And then obviously he's got to feel a lot of pressure because, as I say, where he was, it's been a bit of a dip and he's been away for a year. So he needs, for his brand to continue to rise, for his star to rise, for the endorsements to keep coming in and, try and become the cash cow like he said he was going to be. He needs to come out here and finish Tony Ferguson. Not a win. He's got to finish it. You know what I mean? That brings a lot of pressure because Tony Ferguson is not easy to finish. Yeah, man. I don't know. Who do you think? What's your pick?
I like the unorthodox striking from Tony. My problem is he uses, like, his head movement has never been that good. And I feel like Paddy's pressure might overwhelm him. But I don't know, man. Like, there's just something in me where come on, man, it's Tony time. It has to be Tony time one more time. It just has to.
Yeah. But that's the problem. It has to be Tony time one more time. And that's why you keep stepping in there when you've lost fights. That's why fighters keep coming back to the octagon, because they don't want to retire on a loss. Do you know what I mean? So that one more, it has to be Tony time, is what keeps them coming back.
I feel like BJ Penn went through something very similar.
It's what keeps them getting beat as well. You got to know when to retire. I'm not saying it's time, but if he loses, it's definitely Tony time to retire. Paddy does carry his chin kind of high in the air a little bit. I mean, I'll be honest, I've seen better defense at Power Slap, So he carries his chin a little high. Tony, I think, has got bigger power. I think Tony's probably the better wrestler. He wrestled in college, Paddy did get taken down by Jared Gordon, who's a great mixed martial artist. I don't know who does it. I'll say Paddy, probably, just because he's on better form. And I do believe the 6 losses, but, what are you saying? Say something. You're on a podcast.
I think I'm going to go. I mean, yeah, that's it. I'm sticking with it. I said it. Tony Ferguson gets it done. Tony Ferguson.
All right. I'll be honest. I'd be happy to see that.
Right.
And that's nothing against Paddy. I wish him all the best and may the best man win. But just for Tony Ferguson, for the time served with the company, for the wars that he's put on, the entertainment, the damage he's taken inside the octagon, it would be nice. And regardless of the opponent, it would be nice to see Tony get a win. And it'd be nice if he then retired. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's not going to be champ. He's not going to be champ. No. He's not going to go on some crazy winning streak.
No.
Get the win. Take your gloves off. Put them down in the octagon at the T-Mobile Arena on pay-per-view. And then forget about the shtick and the act and all the rest of it and speak from the heart. Say what this sport has done for him, how it's changed his life, the money that he's been able to earn, the love and the appreciation that he's felt from the fans, and then put on gas station sunglasses. Whoa, give it one of them. I can't do a woo. And then walk off into the sunset. That would be the way.
I think the only guy who's managed it, Robbie Lawler. And it might be like the most perfect retirement from the sport ever. If we get 2 of those in a year, I think that'd be a miracle.
Yeah. It's Tony Ferguson. We ain't going to get that. Even if he does win, he's going to call out Conor McNuggets. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
He is. All right, this episode is sponsored by Chalk. That is CHOQ.com. Listen, Chalk, you know all about Chalk by now because they have the best natural testosterone boosters, but they've also got pre-workouts. Yes, they're taking over that world as well because pre-workouts are awesome, but when they're not filled with natural products, you feel weird, you feel tingly, you crash really, really badly. And that is why they have brought out Chad Mode, which is the best all-natural, clean pre-workout and the ultimate way to get pumped up naturally. It will give you the edge that you need before any activity, whether you're lifting weights, hiking, or just crushing it at work. Unlike 99% of the garbage-filled supplements on the market, Chad Mode, as I said, all natural, free of artificial flavors, no preservatives, sweeteners, or dyes. It's just organic lemon, cherry, and maple crystals, and no synthetic caffeine, just organic green bean extract. By the way, Chuck uses full disclosure labeling. You can see it all right there. There's no label fluffing, proprietary blends, underdosing, none of that stuff. So if you're looking for a super high potency, junk-free pre-workout, there is no better way to start your day than using Chad Mode. And along with Chad Mode, as always, check out the Male Vitality Stack and the Stack Ultra along with the Chalk Daily. So give it a shot. You won't be disappointed. And by the way, we're going to give you 35% off. Go to chalk.com, CHOQ.com. And when you're there, use the code Bisping for a huge 35% off your order. Chalk.com, CHOQ.com. Use the code Bisping, 35% off. Before we get into the other one, should we get a little non-MMA story? What have we got here, Harrison?
Which one grabs your fancy?
I don't know. An Ohio woman was arrested. See, I've been busy with Tales from the Octagon. You picked all of these.
Uh-huh.
So
I stand by this one.
This is what?
I stand by this one. This one's good.
All right. So you've put in here an Ohio woman was arrested after she got angry with the woman preparing her food and flung a burrito bowl at her. The judge could have given her 6 months in jail with half suspended, but instead opted to make her work 20 hours a week at Chipotle for 2 months. I love it. I love it. God bless that judge. God bless that judge. Do we have a link or a picture or something like that, Brian? Harrington, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think in the story there's like stills of her throwing the burrito bowl, and it's like it is a pretty nasty act. You can see them shouting at each other beforehand. And like I said, the judge could have added to the prison population, or right, like you have these fast food restaurants that are having a hard time staffing people. If you're going to act a fool in one, that's an awesome punishment for a judge to be able to dole out.
Well, yeah, because they get to experience firsthand just exactly what they're going through and what they were, the kind of torture that they're putting on. These people, and this is no disrespect to anybody that works in a fast food place, but I'm sure it's not their first choice. I'm sure when they were a kid, they didn't dream of working at Chipotle or McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever it is, right? Standing there dealing with irate customers. And granted, sometimes these places can be annoying and, sometimes people might have a legitimate problem. But don't be a dick with the person working there. They're just working for a massive corporation. They're not getting paid good money. They're not living out their hopes and dreams. They're just trying to pay the bills because they've got responsibilities at home. They've got a wife. They've got children. They've got a husband. Maybe they're a single mother, whatever. They're struggling to pay the bills. Maybe they're a college kid and they're a little smarmy ass dickhead. If that's the case, go to town. But no, but you know what I mean? Just have a little bit of respect for just human beings in general. And I think that judge, what a sentence. Go and work in Chipotle for 20 hours a week. What was it? 20 hours a week?
20 hours a week for 2 months.
That's brilliant. Oh, is this the video?
It's all over.
Yeah. I mean, that woman's awful. I mean, what the hell's going through her mind? Listen, I've got a bad temper, but I don't these days. It's better. But when I was younger, I did used to get into the red mode. Do you know what I mean? Pretty quick. But I don't these days. But even then, even at that point, you're going to throw your meal when you're starving over a Chipotle work. Have you ever worked in a fast food place, boys?
I used to work in fine dining. Not quite the same.
Oh, it's not quite the same thing, is it? Would you care for some Grey Poupon?
Yeah, I was that guy. I had a suit and everything. But the worst part about this is you have to prepay for that food before they even start making it. So she wasted all of her own money.
Yeah. No, I see stuff like this all the time. There was that video recently. Did you see that? It was a woman at McDonald's.
Where she like threw something back at the cashier?
No, she wanted the cookies and the cookies weren't ready. And I think they said pull over, and she was swearing, screaming at her. She threw stuff at her. I think she might have spat at her, or maybe I'm making that up to make the story worse. But I think she did. I think she spat at her and all sorts. You know, it's like, dude, get a grip. Get a grip. Anyway, well.
I do like that idea, though, of a punishment leading to rehabilitation and a better society, right? You send someone to prison, you're only going to get a messed up person that comes out of prison 9 times out of 10, right? I do know some well-dressed people who've been to prison, but 9 times out of 10, it messes people up. Versus, hey, you're acting like this in a fast food place, go step in this person's shoes, experience what they experience, and see if you engage in that kind of behavior in the future. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with you. You send somebody into prison, not only is it a strain on the system, but a lot of the times the people that you're going to be surrounded by, you know, you're not going to come out more than likely the same person than what you were when you went in. Have you seen that? What's it called?
60 days in?
6 days. Is it 60 days in?
60 days in.
Yeah. For anyone that hasn't seen it, they take normal members of the public, like a good subsect of society, and they've put them in there, and they, it's all completely undercover, and it's not undercover, but they film it to where the other inmates don't know, you know, and they make out that they're filming a documentary in there, but even the other inmates that are part of the program don't know each other and all the rest of it, and it's just to try and get an insight into prison life when the guards aren't watching, and the people, they turn prisoners themselves. They get almost as bad as the hardened criminals in there. It's pretty good. I gave up watching it after a bit because every episode was kind of like the same. But yeah, 60 days in.
Dude, I heard the most, it's not even fit for air. I heard the most disturbing story from that show. And it's like, how is this still on the air? It's crazy.
Well, if it's fit for air on 60 days in, you can't say it's not fit for air to us and then not say it, because that's terrible podcasting.
A man who volunteered to be on this TV show was sexually trafficked on the show.
God, how does that happen?
There was another guy who went in.
What do you mean he was sexually trafficked? He's in prison.
He was pimped out to another prisoner.
Yeah, we'll just say that then.
There was a guy who went in and became the leader of a gang.
Yeah. It just shows what happens. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, dude.
Do the community service. My God. Sexually trafficked. He was pimped out by another guy.
Yeah.
Whilst filming being a fake prisoner on a TV show.
It's disturbing. Absolutely disturbing.
Yeah, and then there was that one guy that went in and he was like, he thought the whole thing was a joke. You know the guy I'm on about? And he went in and he was like, he was underestimating the whole thing and he was acting like a smart ass and making silly jokes. And like he stood out like a sore thumb straight away, and all like the other criminals like, this out for this guy. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't think it ended well for him, but I gave up watching it. But still, well done to that judge. Community service. I've done a bit of community service myself. You done community service, Harrington?
Never court mandated, no.
Indeed, I have, sir.
Have you, Brian?
Good.
Oh, yeah, I was on the side of a highway with a stick picking up garbage one time, like in the cartoons. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was in graveyards, cleaning up a graveyard and digging some graves and stuff. Yeah, back in the day in Whalley at the church.
That's worse than what I did.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the fight stuff. After that, we got Shavkat Rakhmonov, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Love Wonderboy, love Shavkat. Both respectful dudes. Don't expect any shit talk from that. Shavkat, as we said before, is phenomenal. No weak areas. He can get the job done everywhere. And I do believe there will be a time and the future where he is the welterweight champion of the world. I don't know when that's going to be, but he's still a relatively young man, I believe. What is he? He's 29. Yeah. 29 years old. He's that good. But Stephen Thompson, is a special kind of guy. He's never been the champ. He's fought for the belt twice against Tyrone Woodley. He's almost 40, 39, or maybe he's even 40. He's at a disadvantage in the grappling area, but he's fought lots of guys that want to take him down. I don't know. I think Stephen gives him a really good fight. I think he gives a really good account of himself. But I think Shavkat gets it done.
It's really, really, really hard to pick against the guy who is undefeated and all of his fights are finishes. But we have seen as he's gone up the ladder in the UFC, fighting tougher and tougher guys, he struggled more and more. Like that Jeff Neal fight was very, very competitive. So if he is willing to actually stand and strike with Stephen Thompson, this has the makings of a fight of the year candidate, because if you're ever willing to just stand up and let Stephen Thompson throw some strikes at you, like it over time, over the course of a fight, it's not going to go well for you 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, the thing about Shavkat, though, as well, he's very well-rounded and he's smart and he can get the job done everywhere. But as you said, the Jeff Neal fight, very close. I mean, Shavkat was, you know, he was taking over. He was winning the fight, I would say. If it went to a decision, he would have got the decision. But it was a good, close fight. Jeff Neal's a tough son of a bitch, though, as well. But Jeff Neal's not as fast as Stephen. He's not as fast and he's not as diverse and he's not as varied as Stephen Thompson. And Jeff Neal's also not as experienced as Stephen Thompson in stopping takedowns. I say that because Stephen Thompson is a karate master. Everybody he fights wants to take him down. Do you know what I mean? So you get a little bit of experience at stopping those takedowns. But yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It's hard to pick against a guy that's 17-0 that are all finishes. And hold on, how many in the UFC is it now? It's a good few. Hold on. Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, Carlston Harris, Michael Prazeres, Alex Oliveira. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Magny and Jeff Neal, that's his like real tough fights before that, you know, but whatever. Brian?
I mean, you have to bet on Shavkat because I don't see him doing what Kevin Holland did and just being like, no, let's just stand and karate fight.
Yeah. No, there's no way. There's no way. And more than likely, Shavkat won't break his hand either. All right, today's episode is sponsored by Shopify, which is something that you need to use, need to take advantage of, need to get involved with if you're an entrepreneur, if you have a business, or you've got an idea for a business. If you've got an idea right now, action it. Take it off the ground. Get it online and do it quick, easy, and conveniently. Oh, by the way, do it cheaply as well. Whatever you are selling, you got to be online. You got to sell to the entire world, and Shopify covers everything. It also covers every single channel, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. It even lets you sell on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. They've got 24/7 customer service help. They've got an extensive library course. Shopify is there to support your success every single step of the way. By the way, it lets you instantly accept every single major payment method as well. So right now, get serious about selling and try Shopify today. Take your business to the next level. Go to Shopify today. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/believe, all lowercase. One more time, shopify.com/believe to take your business to the next level. Shopify.com/believe for a trial period of $1 per month. What are you going to do on Thursday this week, Harrington, when we've got no show? Are you just going to like float around New York City all lost?
Yeah, dude, that's it. I'm going to get my cup back out. I'm going to head back to the trains and just start panhandling.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Get back on the bench. Hopefully Sean Strickland will see you. What did he say to you that time? He wanted, he wished you were there so he could kill you.
Yeah, you said, oh, well, my producer used to be homeless. And he said, oh, I used to be homeless? Man, I wish I would have run into you then. I could have killed you and not even felt bad about it. Like I was doing society a favor.
Did we see the video from Sean Strickland that he posted last week?
Which one?
About bloody Garry and his
Garry?
wife.
Yes, we did. We did play that one.
Song. Did we play it on the show?
Oh, the song?
Yeah.
No, we did not play the song on the show.
Yes, Brian, you got to pull this up. So Sean Strickland, what's his name? Tyler whatever, who cares? Tyler something, some guy he does cameo. He's a country singer. Sean's obviously gone to him and said, do a song about Ian Garry, right? And this guy's done it. He's sung the song. He's made the song. He's wrote the song. He's done a music video. The music video is very like entertaining in its own weird offbeat way. The lyrics, somebody save Ian, because I don't want to see him with a 40-year-old gold digging European.
So this guy, he's like a comedic musician. I've seen him before. For the YouTube people, we're gonna cut this out. But
really? Why?
Because this is probably copyrighted.
It's on Instagram.
Oh, then we might be all right. We'll find out when I upload it.
Yeah, let's give it a do.
On y'all watch out now. There's a cougar down there. She done got herself a calf. Ain't that a damn shame? Somebody save Ian, cause I don't want to see him with the 40-year-old gold digging European. From the king, can she sing that shit clean? Seems mean while the ring gets obscene, it's a scheme.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I mean, I guess, in terms of shit talk, in terms of like trash talk, that's as good as it gets. That's as good as it gets. You're not even saying anything. You get someone else to do it. They write a song. It's catchy. It's great.
What's the dickhead who sung the song about you?
Who?
You, before your fight.
Jorge Rivera.
See, if he would have been half as talented as this, you wouldn't even got mad.
Yeah, no.
Granted,
I'm not the subject here. Yeah, I'm not the intended victim. Do you know what I mean?
No, but that dude needs to take notes for next time.
That is good. That is good, and it's bloody catchy as well. It's very, very catchy. So anyway,
in the 90s with rap beefs, you would have 24 hours to respond to something like that. How Ian Garry hasn't gotten like a limerick band on Sean Strickland kind of blows my mind, dude. Keep it going.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the main event, and then we'll do the co-main. Leon Edwards, Colby Covington. It's a good fight. We've talked about this a lot. Leon's way better on the feet. He's taller. He's longer. He's younger. He's technically a far better striker. He's faster. I don't know if he's more powerful. I mean, definitely head kicks generate a lot of power, but he's not, if we're being totally honest, I'm not just hyping him. He's not like a knockout artist. Yeah, he got that beautiful knockout. He was stunning against Kamaru, but he's not known for that. Just being honest. Colby, better wrestler, more experience, if you will. Yeah, I don't even know about that. But yeah, the path to victory, the key to victory for both men is extremely simple. It's very, very simple. Colby's got to close the distance. He's got to try and take him down. He will be relentless with that. That is what he does. That is what he's built his entire career on, right? And he won't stop. I think he will be in tremendous shape. He'll push a pace. He'll chain the takedowns together. I believe he will have some success, right? There's no way you're going to look at this fight for 5 rounds and think Colby's not going to get a single takedown. You know what I mean? This phone is going every 2 bloody seconds. Sorry. It's vibrating there. Leon's built his career. If he gets taken down, he'll have a good way to get back to his feet. What do you think?
I don't see Colby successfully keeping Leon down for 3 out of the 5 rounds. Right. I do see a world where even if he does, Leon could get a 10-8 in one of the rounds. Right. So I don't see the path to victory for Colby Covington. Right. And like, that's not taking anything away from Colby Covington. I've seen how much Leon has had difficulty dealing with guys who pressure him and get in his face, especially late in fights. Like thinking about the Nate Diaz fight. And how much Kamaru was able to keep him on his back foot for rounds 2 through 4 in their first fight. But I don't know, man. Like, it feels like Leon he's hit a new gear. The Leon who just went out and fought Kamaru Usman earlier this year looked head and shoulders above the guy who won the title. So I just don't see any way that Colby's going to crack him.
I find a hard way to come up with a reason to say why Colby would win. I think Colby's going to go out there and give him a test. He will. But it will be a test that Leon passes with relative flying colors. Because, I mean, if you just look at Leon's record, right? For the last God knows how many fights, it's people that all want to take him down. Gunnar Nelson. His MO is always to try and get you to the ground. Beat him. Dos Anjos, same thing. Belal Muhammad, all right, granted eye poke. Belal Muhammad's trying to take him down. That's a fact. So not just the fights, the training camps, the preparation, they all parlay into the next one. And that's why you get better at that. After that, it's Nate Diaz. That was kind of a different affair. That was more a boxing fight, really. Kamaru Usman, twice on the bounce. Again, every one of them, every training camp you do, you get better at this. Like towards the end, I had very good takedown defense. You know, when I started my career, I didn't. Why is that? Because then you learn, you get better. You tips and tricks. You train with the best people. As you become champion of the world, other people then want to come and train with you because you've got something to offer them. You know what I mean? You can afford to bring in the best training partners. I would assume, I don't know this, but I would assume that now, given the resources, and another word for resources is money that Leon has, is you can fly in a couple of wrestlers from Bulgaria or Russia. There's people in the UK that can wrestle. There's British fighters that can wrestle, but there's also a lot of Russians and Europeans that live in the UK that can wrestle. You can bring those guys in. So he's definitely got access to those types of people. And ever since he came to the UFC, he's been fighting these kind of people. So I think Colby's going to show up, but I think Leon wins by a pretty dominant decision, I'd say.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And there's something about the way that Colby comes in. It does feel a little bit reckless, the way that he throws hands coming in to set up these exchanges. And I feel like Leon's just too much of a sniper. I'm going to call my shot and say that Leon wins by backpedaling, counter shot, knockout.
Yeah, no, that's what it will be. Leon's not a stupid person. And he's very calculated in there. He knows what he's doing. He picks his shots. He knows he's got to establish the range, maintain the range. He'll keep his his back off the fence. He'll use a lot of lateral movement. He'll probably create some scenarios where the crowd are booing because it's going to be a very pro-American crowd, of course, and they love their own. So there'll be lots of chance of USA. Donald Trump's going to be in the building, and Leon's going to play spoiler to all of that, right? He's going to dance around. He's going to keep him on the end of the jab. He'll probably utilize a lot of push kicks to keep him away. He'll use a lot of head kicks because when you throw in head kicks, you have to use your hands to block. If you're using your hands to block, you're not necessarily shooting takedowns. Colby's not as long. I think he will get on the inside at times. He will get his hands on him and he might even get a takedown. But for the most part, it's going to be Leon stopping the crowd from seeing the fight they want to see, which is like either a slugfest, because we always want that, or with it being a pro-American crowd, Colby having success and taking him down. There's no disrespect to Colby Covington. I'm a fan of him, but I think Leon has the recipe, he has the skill set and the experience to beat him. And even if he does get on the inside, the knees and the elbows from Leon are deadly. Against Kamaru last time, he punished him to the midsection. Beautiful elbows, great knees to the body, and then he would step off. It's the same thing. It's rinse and repeat. So there it is. And still, question is Brandon Harrington. Who is next for the belt, though?
That's a good question.
Well, they just made Belal Muhammad the backup fighter. I feel like 9 times out of 10, that means you're going to get like the next title shot, no?
Of course it's Belal Muhammad. We need to stop forgetting about Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad gets the next title shot. Why is this even a question?
No, I know. I even did a video the other day on YouTube about Belal's the backup fighter. I forgot about that. No wonder his name is Remember the Name.
He's trying to remind us.
Come on.
Like, Jesus. Guys, remember me. Yeah, his nickname should be Remember Belal, not Remember the Name. It's like, if only I could remember the name. You know what I mean? Remember Belal. Save Belal. It's going to be Belal, but you never know because Leon's talking about going up to 185. Colby's talking about going up to 185. And they're both talking out of their goddamn asses. What are you on about? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many real contenders at 170.
Yeah, exactly. And right now, Leon's defended the belt, of course he has, but against the same person. So there hasn't been fresh blood. So it's not his first defense, but it's his first new defense. Excuse me, his first new opponent. So, I mean, when you look at the rankings, there's a ton of people. And listen, I know why Leon wants to do it, and I support him in that, and I want him to go out there and have the biggest fights possible and make as much money and achieve legendary status and all that shit. But if you're in the welterweight division, you're losing your mind. So Colby is also saying the same thing, and we've said this many times. It's a risk-free fight. You win, you're a legend. You're a two-weight division champ. You lose, you're still the champ. Brian, you said something?
So what happens if Wonderboy beats Shavkat and Leon beats Colby? Does that put Wonderboy in the running to fight Leon for the title?
I don't know. Potentially. I think stylistically that'd make for one of the funnest fights you can make.
Yeah.
Does Shavkat get it next? 18-0? I mean, I don't think his resume necessarily deserves it, but he beat Jeff Neal and Neil Magny. He's undefeated. They're all stoppages. He can't speak English. I think that does, sadly, it does affect, like the popularity and pay-per-view sales. But if we're picking what's right, undefeated, I mean, when we look at the rankings, you got Kamaru, you got Belal.
The winner of Belal versus.
We got Colby. So it's Belal. It has to be. It has to be Belal. There's Gilbert Burns, Shavkat, Wonderboy, Brady. It's Belal.
Yeah.
Remember the name.
Yeah. I was just looking. I mean, I don't know. The Wonderboy thing, right? I hate to throw Belal under the bus, but if Wonderboy gets a clean knockout, that's a much more fun fight for Leon Edwards and a much easier fight for Leon to sell. No?
Well, you heard it here first. Mike Harrington is campaigning for Wonderboy versus Leon. Mike Harrington has forgot about Belal. Literally. Right. No. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great. I just don't see it. Belal's going to be the backup fighter. He's on a ridiculous streak. He is 10, 11, 12 fights or something like that, undefeated with one no contest. So, yeah, it's got to be him. All right, today we're going to talk about Fitbod, which is the smart workout app that you have on your phone that will create custom dynamic exercise programs for you based on your goals, your experience, and your equipment. It gives you varied routines as well, so you avoid overtraining, and it does it cheaper. They also have an algorithm on there which uses data and analytics to scientifically build your next best workout so you can maximize results. You can also see your muscle usage, recovery, achievements, and workout streaks right there in the app. And you are in control because the workouts are designed just for you, so you're getting precisely what you need. By the way, access to Fitbod for 1 year will cost you less than one session with a personal trainer. You can get a full year of personalized workouts with Fitbod. Fit exercise into your schedule and learn how to do the workouts as well, because Fitbod, it works with any Android or iOS device. And by the way, the app's super easy to use because it has HD video tutorials with thousands of videos right there showing the exercises which you can do with the available equipment. So if you're just going to garage, you're in the park, you're at home, you're in a hotel room, it will show you a workout with what you have available, and it will teach you how to do it so you don't get injured. So sign up to Fitbod right now and get 25% off when you go to fitbod.me/believe. That is 25% off this. Start 2024 the right way, with a bang, with the workouts, which are cheap, which you can try for free. You can try it out for free when you go to fitbod.me/believe, and you'll get 25% off this subscription by going to fitbod.me/believe. All right. And of course, the one fight that we're yet to talk about is the co-main event. And I am excited about this. I haven't done this last because they're little guys. The flyweights are fantastic. The skill, the speed, the pace, the technique on display is amazing. And Alejandre Pantoja is amazing. I am such a huge fan of this guy. I love the fight he had with Brandon Moreno when he won the belt. Unbelievable. The performance was crazy. His opponent, Brandon Royval, I think he's like 15-6. A lot of stoppages. Pulls it out the bag. Very, very quick submissions. He just snatches them out of nowhere. His last 3, I think they were all, what was it? Mataus Nicolau got him, that was a knockout. Guillotine against Matt Schnell, both round 1. Oh, yeah, and then a split decision over Rogério Bontorin. What do you think about that one, Harrington?
Well, I mean, his last loss is to Pantoja, so it's like, I don't know. I've seen this before. I have to lean Pantoja, and it's like if the guy's getting, 20, 50, whatever percentage you want to say better once you get the belt, I don't know how Royval overcomes that, but I mean that's why we watch these fights, right? Pantoja
is just amazing, man. I was so impressed with that Moreno fight. In fact, every time I see him fight, he is phenomenal. I mean, his jiu-jitsu is ridiculous. The striking's ridiculous. He's got a tremendous team. We had him on the podcast as well. I'm a big, big fan of that guy. And I think he does it. I think he does it just like last time, probably gets a submission. He's dangerous on the ground, man. He's like a little ninja in there. So, yep. And still for that guy. And then it's probably, I'm going to throw it out there, Manel Kopp. I would like to see Manel Kopp. He's going to beat Mataus Nicolau. Of course, that fight's lined up. But if he does do that, then Manel Kopp gets the job done. Now, today's a shorter one. It's a 296 preview because I got to go. I got to get on a plane. I got to get sorted. I got to pack. I got to get to LAX. I've got to rehearse Tales from the Octagon. myticket.co.uk if you want to come and join the fun. We've got Brendan Loughnan joining us, the PFL champ. We've got Michael Bennett Page joining us as well. We've got Tom Aspinall on stage. We've got Paul Craig. We got me as well for a bit, trying to be funny, but it is going to be funny because I got some wild shit. So myticket.co.uk if you want to grab a ticket. There's still a few available. So with that said, if you have a question, please send it in to bynpod@gmail.com.
And if you're listening on Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, make sure to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps us out. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and you leave us subscribe to the channel and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new episode drops. And if you want to catch over 500 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM, get a 7-day free trial. Check out over 20 great shows on the network.
There you go. You had that little fumble there, but then you came back with venom. Set it up.
It felt like
okay, I'm going to make up for that little kicked it into fifth gear.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you noticed, Michael.
It's the effort that counts. Today's question is from Ben Smith.
Michael, I heard you talking to Brendan Allen about getting Lucas into hunting. Why not get him a slingshot? You can take out plenty of small game, set out target practice in your back garden. It's a lot of fun. And if Lucas wants any tips, tell him to check out my channel, The Sling Den. Anyway, shameless plug there, but here's my question. With UFC 300 right around the corner, why are so many fighters calling to be on it? Mike, you fought a 100. We've also seen 200. And I don't remember any fighters calling for it like they are this one. What's the big deal? Anyway, keep up the good work. Love the podcast. And I hope you all have a great Christmas. Even you, Harrington.
No, bless him. That's Ben from Sling Den, was it?
Yep. Ben from Sling Den.
Right. Number one is English. We call it a catapult.
The little ones you call catapults?
We call that a catapult. I'm well aware that in your mind you're thinking about what are the old school catapults called?
Trebuchet.
Trebuchet. There you go. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we call it a catapult in England, and we did in our house anyway. I used to love a catapult when I was a kid. I wasn't a very good shot with it. I'm gonna get Lucas a catapult. I don't think he's going to master it and take out bloody vermin. But yeah, get him a little catapult. What was the question? UFC 300. Well, it's UFC 300, Ben. And you're right. He does have a point because there is a lot of people calling for it now, right? A lot of people. And he is correct. I don't think there was quite the same demand. There certainly wasn't high-profile names coming out 6-7 months beforehand saying, I want to be on that one. Jim Miller, I think, was one of the first, and that made sense because he was on 100, 200. Would be cool to have him on 300. And I think now, just with the popularity of the sport, I think now with there being a big distinction, an even bigger distinction between the fight nights and the pay-per-views, you know what I mean? Because there's the pay-per-views, one a month. Fight nights, a lot of them. Some of them are at the Apex, some of them are on the road. Do you know what I mean? And everybody knows you want to be in front of those big, big crowds. And why not try and be on the biggest card of the year, or one of the biggest? I mean, it makes sense.
And I think he's also mistaken because I do remember, like, Conor McGregor mapping out the roadmap, like, I'll beat Nate Diaz and then I'll challenge, for the lightweight belt at UFC 200. Like guys were talking about that, at least from what I remember, with 200. And it became a thing where, there was just so much star power on that card that I think people who were fans back then, who are now in the company, remember like the pomp and circumstance and the gold cage at UFC 200 and Brock Lesnar coming back and the super fight with Silva and DC, that they want, it's natural. People just want to be immortalized like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember that as well. And I think also it's cool because the UFC does now have a lot of these marquee events. Obviously, we got UFC 300, which is coming in April. Shortly after that, we've got International Fight Week. Right, we're going to have some international events this year as well, some big ones. There's also the yearly or the annual fight at MSG. There's the end of year show. Yes, Harrington?
Don't forget the Sphere for UFC Noche, which I'm so excited for, dude.
The Sphere for UFC Noche, good one. But, there is a lot. Dude, I would love to fight at the Sphere. I would love to commentate at the Sphere. I would love to just go to the Sphere. Somebody I knew, I think it was Molly McCann. She was there recently with she watching you too, obviously. They're the residents. And I think, who was it? Was it not David Bowie? David Bowie's dead. Who was it on stage with him? Was it Elton John or Paul McCartney? I think it was.
Yeah? Oh, my God. That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
I can't believe Fish is replacing them. That's a little weird.
Fish?
Yeah, Fish is going to be the next residency at the Sphere.
We're going to go from U2 to Fish.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I remember this conversation not on the podcast with somebody else. That's right, I do. It was with someone from the UFC, and I was like, who's Fish? So I had to look them up. And I do know one or two of their songs, but I'm not a fish aficionado.
You're not
a fish aficionado. A devil's avocado. And there it is, guys. It's a short show this week, so we apologize, but I got to go. But the commitment to the game is still strong. We'll be back with another show next week. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. Enjoy the fights. It's going to be a wild one. If you're in London, if you're in Manchester, it's going to be a wild one. And we're going to have an after party. We're going to watch the fights. So myticket.co.uk if you want to come and join the fun. And hopefully we'll have Anthony back on next week. So guys, wherever you are in the world, we know it's an international audience. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching and supporting the little show. Take care. All the best. See you soon.